Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Trump and Donald Clinton. No matter how you rearrange their names, something is really, really wrong with our political system right now. You know this to be true whether you're a political junkie or if you couldn't name the vice president if your life depended on it. Our broken system churning out uninspiring candidates, coupled with our broken media that often just repeats campaign talking points, has given us two broken candidates from two broken parties competing in a broken election for control of a nation going broke. This isn't how it was supposed to be, nor is it how it has to be. I don't particularly like Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. Hillary has been involved in the political machine for the past 30 years at various levels, from wife of a governor to first lady to senator to secretary of state, and it's not really clear to me if her accomplishments outweigh her poor decisions. Nothing she says strikes me as real or honest, like how she's constantly railing against Wall Street while at the same time taking at least $25 million from Wall Street this campaign cycle alone. At a time when we're all frustrated by the system, she is the ultimate insider trying to maintain her grip on power. Add her willful ineptitude at best or gross negligence at worst with her emails, her questionable decisions in Iraq and Libya, and the Clinton Foundation's ties to various foreign governments, and there is a lot of questions about her campaign. She also constantly plays into the social justice and oppression Olympics, which judges us all as groups rather than individuals, and I'm pretty sure you guys know how I feel about that. As for Trump, even after all these months of campaigning, I still have no real idea what he thinks about any issue. He seems to have a staggeringly low amount of knowledge about basic policies or how the government is designed to work. Do you really think he knows the different duties of the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of government? The fact that I can't say so for sure that he does is extremely concerning, to say the least. I also don't sense he has any sort of moral center other than what's good for him at the very moment. He will say anything, quite literally anything, to stay in the news, and we simply have no idea how he would govern. His comments constantly toe the line between fact and fiction, and he seems deeply uninterested in other opinions than his own. While many think he'll shatter the monster of political correctness currently assaulting us, it seems like a tall order for someone who threatens to ban news organizations and sue reporters when they ask him hard questions or challenge his statements. So how did we possibly get to a place where everyone I talk to is either begrudgingly voting for one of these two people or just won't vote at all? How did we end up with two deeply unpopular, polarizing people who seemingly represent the worst of us as the only two legitimate candidates for the highest office in the land? It's probably time we looked in the mirror and saw our own responsibility in this unfolding clown show. The writing has been on the wall for years. We watch garbage reality shows, some of them hosted by future presidential candidates. We read biased listicles full of GIFs instead of actual news articles. We say vicious things to people online that we would never say to their faces. Our thoughts have been reduced to 6-second videos, 140-character sentences, filtered images, and mindless snaps. We reward the Kardashians with fame and fortune while we can't come up with the money to take care of our veterans. We watch news channels that are nothing but mouthpieces for the political parties. We shame and slander and deplatform people we disagree with. We issue trigger warnings and safe spaces instead of promoting true education and open discussion. We ask for better leaders, but then we don't vote on election day. We complain, but we don't get involved. When you step back and you think about all of this, it's pretty obvious why we got left with these two candidates. Now, allow me to make the quick case of why you should vote for each one of these people, in case you didn't think I was going to do that. With Hillary, you know what you're going to get. Our system is messed up, but she's part of it, and she's damn well going to make sure that the wheels don't come off during her watch. She's a known quantity in that she cares about her legacy, and she doesn't want to see the country crumble after spending her entire life trying to get to this very place. In short, if you think things are going okay, it makes sense to vote for Hillary. The case for Trump is totally the reverse. He's an unknown quantity and the system hates him. He's given a voice to middle America that is usually ignored or mocked by the elite. He represents the greatest threat to this social justice fiasco infecting all levels of society. He's used the political system and our pathetic media against itself. In short, if you think that things are really messed up and we have to change it at any cost, then it absolutely makes sense to vote for Trump. I, for one, despite everything I've said here, think that the truth lies somewhere in between. There is no question that our system is screwed up, but the truth is it's still one of the best ones out there. And despite our flaws, Americans have freedoms which make people all over the world envious. People still look to America as a beacon of light in the world. People still want to move here, and most of us don't want to move out. We have an imperfect system, but a system that can and will survive these two imperfect candidates. Some people are voting for Hillary because they think she's the last line of defense against Trump, who they liken to Hitler. Some people are voting for Trump because they think he's the only way to stop Hillary, the Manchurian candidate. What a sad and pathetic state we're in. Hillary, a candidate saying she can fix everything that's wrong, even though it's her team who's been in power for the past 8 years. And Trump, a man whose staggering lack of worldly knowledge outside of his own tiny bubble is somehow considered an asset by his supporters. Now, before I tell you who I'm going to support and why, I want to say one more thing. Whoever you choose in this election, I'm actually okay with it. Probably the most important thing I've been fighting for with this show is the ability to agree to disagree, to sit across from someone and hear their ideas and make your own judgment call. I don't ask that you agree with my guests or even myself. In this case, I don't ask that you support who I support, nor agree with my reasons for supporting them. What I hope for, not ask for, is that all of us, whether you support Hillary or Trump, are able to sit across from people who support the other person. That regardless of who someone votes for, we realize we have two candidates but one country. And most importantly, that people are able to make different choices than you for different reasons, and that doesn't mean they're mean or evil, or even worse, gross and racist. I spent a lot of time on the Rubin Report talking about the role of government. It's something so important, yet in our public discourse, we rarely talk about it, even as government gets bigger and bigger. Both the Democrat and Republican conventions were perfect examples of this. At the DNC, speaker after speaker talked about how Hillary could solve all of your problems. I guess she's had all the answers this whole time, but just forgot to tell them to her old pal Barack. Every speaker, including Hillary herself, said that she has the answers and that government, under her watch, can solve everything. The RNC wasn't very different, though, for a series of other reasons. Trump and his speakers talked about how corrupt the system is, but their answer was that Trump and Trump alone could fix it. Immigration? Well, only Trump has the answers. The economy? Only Trump can fix it. Terrorism? Only Trump can keep us safe. In both cases, the answer to everything was bigger government. Your decisions, be it economic or personal, should be given to you by the government. This concept has been creeping on us for a long time, and now we have two candidates that think they are the only ones who know how to live your life, even better than you do. There is simply only one way out of this mess, and I don't think it involves propping up a broken system or burning it down altogether. Every election we hear, this is the most important election in a generation, but you know what? This time it actually might be true. Despite everything, we deserve better than this endless battle between Republicans and Democrats who are more concerned about their grip on power than they are addressing the needs of the people that they're supposed to serve. There is only one way to take the power away from their monopoly over our lives. We must, from this election forward, put both the Democrats and the Republicans on notice that they no longer have a stranglehold on the political process in America. The only way we can do this is to starve them. We must starve them of our attention, of our money, and our votes. Their diet must begin right now. For these reasons and some others, I'll be supporting Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson for President of the United States. I don't think Gary is the perfect man nor the perfect candidate, and I suspect that he doesn't think he is either, but he's sure better than these other two options. As a libertarian, Gary doesn't want to tell you who you can marry and what you can smoke. He wants lower taxes and to empower local, not federal government, which in my view is always a good thing. He wants to hand the power back to the people to control their own lives. He wants a fair resolution to our immigration problem, and he acknowledges that radical Islam, especially in the form of Sharia law, is a real threat. He wants a strong military so that we won't have to use it, not so that we can go on military adventures and nation build. His blend of being fiscally conservative and socially liberal is really where I think most people are ideologically, but we just never get the chance to choose it. I do have some differences with Gary, and the Libertarian Party in and of itself is a total mess, but I think he best represents the ideals I would want in a president. Sometimes you have to stand on principle, even when you know the result will be a short-term loss. Now, before you guys tell me I'm throwing my vote away, let me lay out a plan here. I think that if you've listened this far, you acknowledge that we do have a problem here. Well, the only way we're ever going to solve this problem is by getting more voices heard, not less. If Gary gets to 15% in an average of national polls, then they have to put him in the presidential debates. Why not have at least one debate with another voice? At the absolute bare minimum, we deserve to hear one different point of view now more than ever. I don't need a president to be my savior, but maybe having an alternative to the two-party stranglehold on American politics is actually what can save us. The polling may be antiquated and many only use landlines instead of cell phones, but I think if there was enough public support to get Gary to 15%, they would have to put him in. I don't think Gary's even a particularly good debater, but how about once, just once, for the first time since Ross Perot in 1992, we get a third person on that debate stage. From now until the debates, Gary Johnson has my support. While I acknowledge that he will not be president, nor do I agree with him on everything, I think he best represents the ideals that I want to see from our government and our president. If we're ever going to fix this broken mess, we must start now. Let's show the Democrats and the Republicans that they don't own us, but they do owe us. They owe us the chance to hear more voices because they damn well haven't done a great job while they've been in charge. If Gary doesn't hit the 15% threshold or does one debate and then his support falters, I'll decide what to do at that time. Regardless, I think that the classical liberal and libertarian ideals that Gary embodies more than either of the other two candidates can truly and should truly be the future of American politics. We need a new generation of leaders who believe in these ideas to wake up right now, but it just isn't going to happen by itself. So let's put the people in power on notice and let them know that we won't be sleeping until 2020. Instead, we're going to make sure that they know with absolute certainty that this is their last free ride before the rest of us are heard. All right, so there you go. Simply by the math alone, I suspect that my choice will have more people angry at me than either of the other two choices could have. But I hope that whether you agree with me or whether you disagree with me, that you'll respect the rationale and the logic that I've used to come to my decision. At the end of the day, one of these people will be president, and we're still all going to be here. So let's try to be better than them before Canada builds a wall to keep us all out.